For generations, children across the United States and Europe have playfully imagined what it would be like to dig a hole straight through the earth and pop out on the other side, often landing in a faraway exotic place like China. The phrase "digging to China" has become a whimsical shorthand for the idea of journeying to the planet's opposite side, conjuring up images of tunnels spanning the globe and adventures beneath our feet. But where did this idea come from, and is there any truth to it? Let's explore the science, geography, and cultural quirks behind the enduring myth of digging to China. The notion of ending up in China simply by digging straight down is rooted in the concept of antipodes. An antipode is the point on the Earth's surface that is diametrically opposite to another. In other words, if you could draw a straight line from where you're standing, through the center of the Earth, to the other side, the place where the line emerges is your antipode. Because the Earth is a sphere, every point has a unique antipodal counterpart, unless you're at the North or South Pole, in which case the antipode is the opposite pole. For most people in the United States or Europe, the idea that their personal antipode is located in China is a fun simplification. In reality, if you were to examine a globe or an antipode map, you would discover that the opposite sides of the planet from North America and most of Europe land not in China, but in the vast, empty stretches of the Indian Ocean or South Pacific. Only a small fraction of landmasses have antipodes that fall on other major landmasses, and China's antipodes rarely align with the populous cities of the Western world. So, why does the digging to China myth persist? Part of the reason lies in China's historical reputation as a distant, mysterious land. For centuries, it was seen as a symbol of the other side of the world, both geographically and culturally, by Western societies. The phrase took hold in the popular imagination, reinforced by stories, cartoons, and even children's books, where adventurous kids might dig a hole, travel through the Earth's core, and surface in a world utterly different from their own. But what would it really take to dig such a hole? The Earth's diameter is about 12,742 kilometers, or just under 8,000 miles. To drill a tunnel from one side to the other, you would need to travel through several distinct and formidable layers. The thin, brittle crust, the thick, semi-solid mantle, the liquid outer core of molten iron and nickel, and finally, the dense, solid inner core, where temperatures soar to around 5,700 Kelvin, hotter than the surface of the sun. The pressures deep inside the planet are equally staggering, reaching millions of times the atmospheric pressure at sea level. With current technology, and given the laws of physics, such a venture is impossible. Our deepest mines and boreholes barely scratch the surface. The deepest, the Kola super-deep borehole in Russia, reaches just over 12 kilometers, a tiny fraction of the distance to the other side. The heat, pressure, and molten rock would destroy any known materials or machinery long before reaching the core. Yet, the sheer impossibility of the task has not diminished its appeal as a playful thought experiment. This brings us to a geographic curiosity: Argentina. While digging to China may be a metaphor for most of the world, for the inhabitants of Argentina, it's actually closer to reality than one might expect. Argentina is one of the few large countries whose antipodal points fall near or within the geographic bounds of China or its surrounding waters. If you were to stand in Buenos Aires, for example, and tunnel straight through the center of the Earth, you would emerge in the East China Sea, not far from the coast of China. Move further south in Argentina, and your antipode could land in the waters near the Philippines or within the maritime borders of Southeast Asia. This unique relationship between Argentina and China is not just an amusing coincidence. It's a reflection of the planet's distribution of land and sea. Most of the Earth's surface is water, so the majority of landmasses have antipodes that fall in the ocean. That makes Argentina's alignment with East Asia all the more remarkable. For Argentinians, the childhood fantasy of digging to China has a real geographic basis. Their antipodal points really do lie near the bustling shores of China and its neighbors. To visualize this, imagine Earth as a perfect blue and green marble. You pick a spot in Argentina, grab an imaginary shovel, and start digging, straight down, through thousands of kilometers of rock and metal, toward the planet's heart. Your path cuts through the crust, plunges into the mantle, and crosses into the fiery core, before rising once more toward the surface, finally breaking through in the waters or lands of East Asia. While such a journey is pure fantasy, the geometry behind it is sound. The concept of antipodes is more than just a curiosity. It helps us understand the true shape of our planet and the relationships between distant places. It shows how geography can connect seemingly unrelated corners of the world, and how even the wildest childhood daydreams have a basis in scientific fact. In summary, the phrase "digging a hole to China" is a metaphor that only works if your starting point's antipode is actually in China. For most people in North America or Europe, that's not the case. Their antipodes are usually in the middle of an ocean or some remote stretch of water. But for people living in Argentina, the idea is rooted in geographic reality. Their antipodes do lie near or within China's borders, making the phrase uniquely relevant. Of course, no one will be digging a tunnel through the planet anytime soon. The extreme conditions beneath the surface make such a feat impossible with current or foreseeable technology. But the idea persists, charming us with the possibility of a shortcut to the other side of the world, and reminding us of the playful ways in which geography and imagination intersect. In the end, digging to China remains a symbol of curiosity, adventure, and the enduring human desire to explore the unknown, even if only in our minds.